Today, I'm going into a topic that has been long requested on this channel, which is a deep dive into the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform. Or, more importantly, how you can make sure you're not leaving any money on the table when you're redeeming your points. It's critical to understand that not every redemption has equal value, so today I'm taking you on a deep dive through the Ultimate Rewards platform and all of its redemption models from the lowest value to the highest value. Also, I'm going to break this down for both of the Sapphire cards because they're quite different. Number 1, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and number 2, the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Before we get started, let's dive into the viewer question for today. What's the best point redemption experience for travel that you've had and why? If you want to answer the question, then leave a comment below. First off, I want to talk about redemption values because this is something we'll talk about in this video and in future videos as well. There's a metric that's pretty common in the credit card world, and that is cents per points. That means how many cents are you getting for each point when you're redeeming them? Pretty simple. And this is the metric that you want to optimize for because you want to make sure that you get as many cents as possible for 1 point. And with the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform, there are 6 options for you to redeem your points, listed here. We are starting from the very bottom today, and by the end of this video, you will have a good understanding on how you can redeem your points for maximum value. So let's start with the lowest value, which is 0.8 cents per dollar. On the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform, there's a way for you to pay with points. So let's say you earned 1,000 points, you can use those 1,000 points and pay your bill on a separate platform for it. And Chase currently has a partnership with 2 providers. One of them is Amazon, the second one is PayPal. All you need to do is connect your Amazon account, connect your PayPal account, and then when you check out on something, you can actually pay with points instead of with dollars. However, I think this is probably the worst redemption value possible for your points, and you should avoid it at all costs unless you're struggling to find money to pay your bills with. The reason for that is simple. 0.8 cents per dollar is incredibly low for Chase point redemption. You will see why in this video if you keep watching. Let's continue with higher redemption models, and now we need to split it up into the Sapphire Preferred and the Sapphire Reserve. The first option Chase gives us is redeeming it for Apple purchases. You can redeem your points for Apple products on the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform for 1 cent per point. That means if you want a new phone that's $1,000 worth, you need 100,000 points to pay for this phone. I think this is a fair redemption model in case you're not planning to travel anywhere for the next couple of years. And this Apple redemption model goes for both cards and there's no difference. And then let's continue with cashback. Cashback means that you can convert your points into a statement credit on your credit card. So same as with Apple, 1 cent per dollar. This means if you use 100,000 points, you get a statement credit of $1,000 on your bill. Then the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform also has a pretty big category called gift cards, where you can redeem your points for gift cards and use them later on at any store. And they allow you to do that for 1 cent per dollar as well. But now let's start with the card differences. It starts with Pay Yourself Back. Pay Yourself Back is a feature that Chase added in the past couple of years, where you can pick certain expenses that you've had on your Chase Sapphire cards and pay yourself back through points. However, they only do that in certain categories. For the Chase Sapphire Preferred, it starts at 1 cent per dollar for both gas stations, grocery stores, and your annual fee for the card. If you had any grocery store expense, for example, you spend $50 at Whole Foods, you can actually use points in order to pay yourself back. So for those $50, you would need to spend 5,000 points in order to get that statement credit. Now, the 1 cent per dollar category is okay if you have no interest in traveling for the next couple of years. In that case, I think Pay Yourself Back is a good feature to have. Even cashback can be a good feature. But if you do want to travel in the next couple of years, I would highly recommend to stay away from those features. Let's move on to the 1.1 cent per point category. And there's just one thing that Chase offers here, which is gift cards on sale. Sometimes when you go to the gift card categories, there's a discount happening, but it usually doesn't bring you much higher than 1.1 cent per dollar. So even there, it's not the best redemption value. On 1.25 cents per dollar is where it starts to become a little spicy. Let's start with the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Here, you can use the Pay Yourself Back feature for charities. So sure, you can do this, but you're not gonna get any redemption value for your own pleasure. Also at 1.25 cents per dollar, Chase really wants you to take advantage of the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform. There's 3 different categories. First one is Chase Travel, second one is Chase Dining, and third one is Chase Experiences. Let's start with the first one and the most obvious one, Chase Travel. For that, you need to go to the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform and you can look for hotels, flights, car rentals, cruises, etc. So anything travel related you will find there. And on this platform, you can just use your points for travel value at 1.25 cents per dollar. You will typically see how much something costs in dollars and then how many points you need to spend for it. They automatically calculate it for you, so you don't need to do the math of what's 1.25 cents per dollar. They do the same with Chase Dining, but I think Chase Dining is actually really interesting. And personally, I've been using Chase Dining, and I think it's a pretty good value actually. If you live in a big city, for example New York or San Francisco, you can go to the Chase Dining platform and look for restaurant experiences. For me personally, I love Japanese food, and if you've ever been to an omakase fine dining restaurant, it can get very, very pricey. So sometimes I treat myself to omakase through points because I don't want to spend $400 on this omakase experience, and it makes me much more happy because I feel like I got a free meal. If you're interested in that, you can just check out the Chase Dining platform and see what's out there in your city. You can do the same with Chase Experiences, but I think Chase Experiences are way more limited. Like, I've never found anything that I like or I want to attend. But if you keep an eye on it and you actually monitor what's happening in your city, you can probably take advantage of that too. That's it for the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Now let's move on to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And all you can do in the 1.25 cents per point category is pay yourself back for grocery stores, gas stations, and your annual fee. Not much more to add here. The only reason why you get 1.25 cents per point on the Chase Sapphire Reserve is because it's the Chase Sapphire Reserve and you have a high redemption value. Now let's move on to a more spicy category, which is 1.5 cents per point. Unfortunately, for the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you have nothing here, because the Chase Sapphire Preferred stops at 1.25 cents per point for most of redemption models. However, that's not the end of the story for the Chase Sapphire Preferred, but more on that later. For the Chase Sapphire Reserve, we have a pay yourself back feature for charities, and we have Chase Travel, Chase Dining, and Chase Experiences, similar to what we just talked about for the Chase Sapphire Preferred. The only difference here is the redemption value that Chase gives you, which is 1.5 cents per point. That's all the options that you find on a Chase Ultimate Rewards platform without any more research. But now let's go into the more interesting categories, which can actually get you unlimited cents per point if you do it wisely. And for both cards, you will find the magic here in transfer partners, mainly for airlines or hotels. Instead of using 1,000 points on the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform directly, you're instead transferring them to some other travel partner that you know you will spend your points with. Let's dive into some examples so you understand what I'm talking about. First, let's talk about flights, and I want to talk about two examples. One of them is economy, the other one is business class. We're using the same flight as an example. It's JFK to Frankfurt, non-stop. Let's start with the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform just to see how expensive that flight is and how much points we would have to pay on the platform. Now on the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform, I can type in my departure and my destination, which is JFK to Frankfurt, on a certain date. Then when I'm hitting search, it'll show me the exact points that I would need to buy this flight with, or the dollar value. In this example, there are some non-stop flights, but the cheapest one will cost me 37,000 points or $564. But now let's check how much I can actually save if I transfer my points to travel partners. I recently found a tool that's amazing if you want to search for award flights. It's called Roam Travel. Most of the features there are free, so I highly recommend you signing up. And for this example, I'll type in the exact same information that we had before, JFK Frankfurt on the same date, and let's see how much points I would have to pay for this if I transfer it to a partner. And here we go. I would only need 29,000 points for the exact same flights if I transferred my points to a travel partner. Let's talk about redemption values here. While on the reserve, you'll get 1.5 cents per point. If you transfer it to a travel partner, you can make 1.9 cents per point, which is much more. Now let's check out the same flight just for business class. So the platform gave me one flight that cost $1,219 or 81,000 points. Okay, that's actually not too bad for this type of flight. However, I think we can still find a better deal if we transfer to a travel partner. So let's change it up the same way and see how many points we would have to spend here. Okay, so this platform found a flight for 55,000 points, which is much cheaper. So instead of 1.25 or 1.5 cents per point, you could actually make 2.2 cents per point if you transfer to a travel partner. Now this is where it becomes interesting because you can almost double your points instantly just because you're transferring your points to a travel partner. And this is how so many people are traveling in business class. We're not spending our points on the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform. No, we're transferring them to travel partners because sometimes there's really good deals out there. I have some more tips and tricks in order to find the best award flights. And if you're interested in finding out how I'm doing this, please leave a comment below and let me know. And now let's move on to hotels. For hotels, I'll give you an example from my personal life because I've booked this exact hotel before, and this hotel is in Mendoza, Argentina. Let's first check on the Ultimate Rewards platform to see how much money or points I would have to spend there. Mendoza is famous for its wine, and there's one hotel that's really special, which is the Park Hyatt Mendoza. If you book this hotel on the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform, it will cost you around $300 or 20,000 points per night. But now let's see what the magic is about with transfer partners here. First, I like to use a website that's called Award Mapper. This will show you all the award hotels in a certain city. So let's search for Mendoza. It does show me the Park Hyatt for Mendoza, and it also tells me how many points I need to spend for one night. This website doesn't allow you to book though, so you need to create an account with Hyatt and transfer your points there. And if you do the exact same search on the Hyatt website, you will see that this same hotel for the same room actually only costs 9,000 points per night if you transfer it over to their website. So what's the redemption value here? Again, if you booked it on the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform, 1.25 cents per point or 1.5 cents per point. But if you transfer to Hyatt and book it over there, you will get 3.5 cents per point, which is so much better. It's almost triple the value. And again, there's a bunch of tools that I use to find those deals. I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but maybe in a future video if you tell me so. But to summarize, I think it's a much better value if you transfer your points to a travel partner instead of using it on the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform if you can. Of course, there's some exceptions. For me personally, I love traveling in boutique hotels. I don't want to stay in the Marriotts or Hyatts of the world all the time because I want to immerse myself in the culture a little bit more, and often that's better in small hotels. In those cases, I still go to the Chase Ultimate Rewards platform and sometimes use points for it. Although often I just decide to pay with my own money instead of points because I know I can get a much better value for flights, for example. And I can tell you that in the past couple of years, I don't think I've paid a single flight because I always find a good deal somewhere. And if you're flexible, meaning you don't need to fly on a certain day, your options are so wide because you will definitely find some deal that will get you to your destination. If you like this video, please hit subscribe and leave a comment in the description box below. I love credit cards. I want to teach you how to use them for your own life. See you next time.